When French Revolution occurred in Europe, it opened up the possibility of creating changes in the society, and powerful ideas of freedom and equality started circulating in Europe. Because after French Revolution, the power shifted from the hand of monarchy and the three-order feudal system also abolished. People started talking about new ideas like individual rights and who will control the social power that became the topic of discussion. Not everyone in Europe wanted a complete transformation of society. So, on the basis of how they were accepting changes, they were divided into three, namely conservatives, liberals, and radicals. Earlier in 18th century, conservatives had been generally opposed to the idea of any kind of change. But by the 19th century, they accepted that some changes are necessary but believed that the past had to be respected and change had to be brought about through a slow process. Liberals wanted a nation which will tolerate all the religions. They opposed the uncontrolled power of dynastic rulers. They wanted to safeguard the rights of individuals against governments. They argued for a representative elected parliamentary government, and laws should be interpreted by a well trained judiciary that was independent of rulers and officials. But they felt only men of property should have the right to vote. They did not want the vote for women, so they were not Democrats as they were not believing in universal adult franchise. Radicals wanted a nation in which government was based on the majority of a country's population. They opposed the privileges of great landowners and wealthy factory owners. They were not against the existence of private property but disliked concentration of property in the hands of few. Many radicals supported women's suffragette movement, that is the voting right of women. This was the time when industrialization occurred and it affected the society greatly. New cities came up, new industrial regions developed, railway expanded. Industrialization brought men, women, and children to the factories. Many people migrated from rural to urban areas. Slum area developed, housing and sanitation became a common problem. Working hours were often too long and wages were poor. Unemployment was very common, particularly during times of low demand for industrial goods. People started talking about individual efforts, labor, and enterprise. If freedom of individuals was ensured, if the poor could labor and those with capital could operate without any problem, they believed that societies would develop. But above all, one major problem was coming up, that is the concentration of property within few hands, as most of the industries were the property of individuals. Against this, the idea of socialism developed. Socialists were against private property and they saw private property as the root of all the social problems because individuals owned the property that gave employment, but the property were concerned only with personal gain and not with the welfare of those who made the property productive. So, if society as a whole rather than single individuals control the property, more attention would be paid to collective social interest. So socialists had different visions on what would be the basis of socialist society. Some people like Robert Owen, they believed in the idea of cooperatives, where people of a community will come voluntarily to form an association to run the enterprises. These cooperatives were the association of people who produced goods together and divided the profit according to the work done by the members. Louis Blanc also wanted government encouraged cooperatives instead of individual initiatives. Karl Marx and Friedrich Engels added their point of view to the idea of socialism. Marx mentioned the industrial society as capitalist. Karl Marx believed that workers had to overthrow capitalism and the rule of private property. To free themselves from capitalist exploitation, workers had to construct a radically socialist society where all property will be socially controlled. This would be a communist society. This idea of socialism spread throughout Europe. To coordinate their efforts, socialists formed an international body, the Second International. During this time in many European countries, many associations and many political parties formed which believed in the ideology of socialism. Like in Germany, the Social Democratic Party, in Britain, the Labour Party, and in France, the Socialist Party. However, before First World War, no socialist party succeeded in forming a government in Europe. Later, Russia became the first country where a socialist government established after a revolution. We will discuss Russian Revolution in the next videos. Thank you and stay connected for the next part.